guys may share or have shared that allowed the relationship to flourish, and if there's any way that he has an influence on you on the basketball court.
We're not jealous of each other. I think that's the best thing. In professional sports, you have guys that join forces. Two, you call them alpha males. That's what they call them. Two guys that's been dominant in a specific sport on their own respective teams. And they get together and they talk about, okay, how dominant they can be, and they talk about this is going to be this and that. I believe jealousy creeps in a lot. And that is the absolute contrary of what we are. We know who we are. We know what we're about. And we want the best, seriously, every single day, both on and off the floor for one another. We're not jealous of one another. And I think that you align that with respect. I don't think the sky's the limit.
All right, we'll do a couple more here. Kyle?
To follow up on what you just said about you and AD, do you feel like the ability to not be jealous of each other is sort of a natural quality, or is that something that has to be learned for some guys? And what was that like for you, kind of striking that balance?
I don't speak for other guys and I don't know. I just speak for myself, for AD. I know who we are. We respect one another. We drive one another. We command excellence out of one another. And that's what it boils down to. Jealousy and envy has killed a lot of great things, not only in sports, but in general. So if you're able to, just throw that to the side, and throw your egos to the side, but continue to bring that confidence of what y'all trying to do with keeping the main thing. Not saying it's that easy, but for us, it's that easy when it comes to our relationship. Like I said, it doesn't result in wins every night. It doesn't result in me putting up numbers and him putting up numbers every night. But as far as our brotherhood and our chemistry, that's what it boils down to.
All right, Dan?
LeBron, last night you said that you think it's easier to it's easier to learn from wins than it is from losses. I'm curious, though, how did the 2007 finals shape the next 13 years of your career, going through that first trip and feeling that pain from that series?
Well, I mean, obviously they were the better team. Dealing with, Timmy and Manu and Tony and Pop, 4 Hall of Famers. I knew it would be challenging, not only, for myself, but for our franchise and for our ball club. I saw the way they approached every game, how they approached every possession, how they didn't make mistakes. They weren't just happy with being there. They wanted to be great as a unit, as individuals as well. And I sensed that as a 22-year-old, and I saw that as a 22-year-old. And that helped shape me year after year after year after year, just holding on to that feeling of not being able to reach the ultimate goal. But at the same time, like I said, just having that adversity and having those moments has put me in a position where I've been throughout my career.
All right, and we'll have the last two. Will?
Yes, last two for you, Brian Mahoney.
Can you go back there? I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you, bro.
LeBron, when you went to the first finals against Golden State, you lost Kyrie Irving in game 1. You already lost Kevin Love. And then you went out and won the next couple games. When a team is in Miami's situation now and they talk about next man up, how did you guys go from sort of saying we can still do this to actually putting together a plan and then going out and actually doing it the next couple games?
I think every situation is different. For us, obviously, losing Kyrie and losing Kevin in that playoff run was detrimental to our success. We were still able to have some success, but we never fully reached the full potential of what our ball club could be in that run. So that's different from, I can't correlate that to what today is all about. For us as a ball club and us as the Lakers, our mindset is game one is over, and game two we got to be better than we were in game one. And when we approach that with that mindset and be as desperate as the opponent, then we give ourselves a good chance to win.
And last one for you, Jason Jackson.
Brian, you guys were still able to create and sustain 3 separate runs despite not having those benchmark things from points in the paint and fast break points. What did you like most about the ability to do that despite not having those weapons where you usually have?
Yeah, for us, we don't let, the game kind of dictates itself at times, and we have to win in different ways. And, we're very good at the fast break game. We understand that. But when we make our markers on the defensive end, when we're getting deflections, we're getting block shots, we're contesting shots either at the rim or at the perimeter or the mid-range and things of that nature, which creates early offense for us. It doesn't always show up in the box score, but when we're active defensively, we're extremely, extremely good team. So every game is going to be its own challenge, and we understand that. And you have to win games in different fashions, sometimes even outside your own box. But I think the great teams learn that throughout the course of a run, throughout the course of a season, and that's what puts them in a position to compete for a championship, which we are today.
Getting your first finals experience under your belt, what was it like to play in a finals game in this odd environment?
Yeah, it was fun. Obviously, not the result we expected or wanted, but it was fun to come out here and compete and get some experience in the finals. Game one, but just a lot more basketball to be played, and we're excited to get started.
You're a team that's been built on banding together and fighting back,
Yeah.
overcoming adversity. You guys have dealt with injury all throughout the course of the year to different guys.
Yeah.
What is it about that has given you the confidence that you guys can do just that on Friday night?
I think just next man up mentality. That's what our coaching staff has always preached to us. We feel like we have a really deep team. I think that's one of our strengths as a team is our depth. So, with some guys out, maybe it's gonna next man up, and we're gonna have to bring our best game for game two.
For people who may just be tuning in now to the NBA Finals and maybe weren't locked in on the Miami Heat all throughout the year,
Yeah.
they may not know the story of what Goran Dragic has meant to this team.
Right.
Going from taking a bench role to being thrust into the starting lineup, carrying the offensive load a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
How do you describe what exactly he means to the success of this team throughout the course of the year?
He means everything. I think is the best way to say it. How you said he took a bench role for us early on, and then he came in, and here in the bubble he started for us, and then throughout the playoffs I'm pretty sure he's been our leading scorer. So at the same time he's scoring, he's also making plays and being a great leader for us. And like I said, he's meant everything to us, and we're hoping he can get back out there. We know how much it means to him and how much he wants to win, and we're feeling for him right now.
With that said, you've already proven in the bubble just a couple of games ago you're capable of exploding for 30 plus points in a game. Is this kind of an exciting time for you to say, all right, I can take on a bigger role?
I don't know if it's exciting. Obviously, we want our full team healthy, and that's when we're at our best, when everybody's healthy. So, I'm not too sure what my role is going to look like, or what the team's going to look like. We got practice a little bit later, so we'll see what it's like then. But next man up mentality is our mindset right now.
I've watched you closely in the huddle throughout the course of the year, pre-COVID and then especially last night.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see how UD and some of the other veterans.
Yeah.
You know, what before coach comes and speaks to you guys, or after you're breaking the huddle. Like last night, there was one example where you and Kendrick are walking out of the huddle, and UD's kind of giving both of you instructions.
Right.
What is that like to have those type of guys to lean on?
It's amazing for us. You know, I think we're different than every other team. We have obviously a head coach, but then with UD, you know, he's had 17 years in this. You know, been to the finals plenty of times. You know, he has a lot of experience, and same thing with the rest of our veterans. You know, Iguodala, same thing. So, you know, as young guys, you know, we're just happy to be here and listen in and be able to learn as much as we can from our vets.
So we have stats on everything now, right?
Right.
So the other day, numbers came out about your social media prowess and how popular you've become in the bubble. What do you credit that to?
I don't know. I guess, you know, a lot of people started to follow me, I guess, once I got to the bubble. I think obviously the better you play on the court, the more people will want to follow you. So I would say it's credit to, you know, my play on the court. Sure.
But also your style, right?
Yeah. I mean, style, really everything, just my personality, I guess you could say. But I think the main thing is the better you play, the more people follow you.
Yeah, but it feels like, and I can speak from personal experience, I have an 18-year-old nephew who he thinks he's the president of the Tyler Hero fan club because it's, you know, just the way you approach the game. Do you feel like you're relatable to like a certain generation of NBA fans right now because you're so young, you know?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. You know, I can, like you said, relate to a lot of people, and I try to be a role model for the generation that you're talking about. I think it's everybody's dream to play in the NBA. You know, have a little bit of style and, you know, just be themselves. I think that's the most important thing.
Well, Tyler, we thank you for your time here.
Appreciate
Get some rest, and we wish you the best of luck on Friday night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go back to you guys.
Nothing that I've, you know, but a few individual things between guys, just, you know, the anxiousness and anxieties that come with the game, just, you know, enjoying the process and making the most of it, embracing it, you know, through the good and the bad. So, you know, you're taking it one day, one game at a time, and, you know, you're locked in so much and there's so much going in your brain because you want to win so bad. You know, those are all good things.
This team obviously deals with adversity well. How is the spirit of the team today?
We got a strong unit, a very tough competitive unit. So, you know, we've been through a lot this season, through the length of it, through, you know, guys being in and out. So, you know, I think the spirit's really good where it needs to be, and just being ready and excited to get another crack at it tomorrow.
All right, last call for anybody else?
I could add one more.
Sure, go ahead, Barry.
Sure, thanks. I just wanted to ask you about Kendrick. Played well, obviously, last night. Anything you spotted in him last night that had changed? Was it just getting back into a rhythm and making shots?
Well, he's done a great job of just staying ready. You know, that's something we all talk about with the Heat culture is, you know, being ready and keeping yourself and not just physically ready, but mentally ready too. And he proved that he's been just growing as a basketball player, growing as a person over this last season, being with the team and making most of his opportunities. And, you know, the opportunity to just sit back and watch us through the playoffs, not playing as much as he would like, but knowing if the opportunity came, he would be ready for the moment, and he showed that last night. So I'm excited for his opportunities moving forward as well.
One more thing, Nick. Andre, just dealing with their size, obviously, Spo played small at times when they had one big on the floor. How overwhelming can it be to deal with their size as you felt last night?
That's a part of the game, and it's good to go through that and have that experience and seeing how you can adjust and be prepared for it even better going into the following games. So, you know, it's something they use as a strength, and, you know, we got a chance to experience that and feel that. So now it's about us making the right adjustments and doing what we got to do.
Yes, thank you. Mike Trudell?
Hey, Anthony. LeBron was just talking about how jealousy and envy can be a thing when you put two alpha dogs together on an NBA team or sort of just in general. and he said that hasn't been the case at all with you guys. I wondered if you had expected that, like when when the trade happened, when you first teamed up with LeBron, and then how that's played out throughout the season for you.
No, it never crossed my mind when the trade happened. I'm not jealous of him. He's not jealous of me. I think it shows on the court. I mean, obviously that can always creep in when you got, like you said, two alpha males and on the same team. But I think when you got two guys who are very selfless and want to win, as bad as both of us want to, the rest of it goes away and just take care of itself. So jealousy has never been a thing on our team from anyone. Everyone is extremely excited for the other guy. When guys get awards or accolades, our team is the first one to congratulate them. So we make sure that we bring it up in film or after the game or whenever we see it. But no one is jealous of one another.
AD, you talked last night about how, there were the little nerves at first, but then once you start playing the game, they go away, and now you're just playing basketball. Today, and sort of preparing for game 2, does it feel the same as it had felt in other series, or is there a difference for you because this is the finals?
It was the same in other series. It was always at game 1 because you want to play so well and get off to a 1-0 start, but now, you had that game 1. You had what it's going to feel like. You know what it takes. Now it's just about going out and competing at a high level. The adjustments you have to make. You know what you can do better. You know what you did well. And so for me, game 2, I think will be a lot more easier for me from a nerve standpoint to just go out there and play.
Allison?
Jeff Zilgett?
Anthony, I guess it's a follow-up on that first question on the jealousy angle. What's allowed beyond that, the friendship to flourish? I know you guys joked about stepbrothers the other night, but there is probably a serious component to the relationship that's made this work.
We hold each other accountable. When we watch film or even during the course of the game, if I did something wrong, he tells me. If he does something wrong, I tell him. And I think that's what makes it work. Knowing that we trust one another to make reads, to make calls. We're able to talk to one another. Some guys on some teams, are afraid to jump on the star player. And it's everyone on our team. Our team, a guy can tell a guy something, and we know it's coming from a great place, and we know it's coming from a guy who wants to win. So, but me and Brian has always been able to, communicate with each other about whatever it is on the floor, which I think helps us knowing that whatever he's telling me is coming from a good place, knowing that he wants to win. And then off the floor, we just, since I went to his camp, and then in 2012 on the Olympic team, we just kind of built that relationship, which kind of lasted until today.
All right, Dave McMenamin?
LeBron said part of the key to you guys' relationship that there is no jealousy. So, and this is meant to be in good fun. If you were to be jealous or envious of anything that LeBron has or is or does, what would it be?
That he has a ring. But he made a promise to me, and so far he's kept it. So hopefully I don't have to be envious of that much longer. But I want to win, and he has 3 of them. And so that will be the one thing for sure that I'll be jealous about.
Okay, Kyle Goon?
You have talked about how you picked up things from LeBron and sort of figured out your way along this playoff push. Do you feel like your effort in game 1 yesterday just reflects even personal growth, maybe in confidence, maybe in preparedness or anything else from that game one when you played against Portland and you were just starting this run?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think our entire team has grown from, our first series until now. I think everyone's confidence is very high. I think guys know where they're going to get their shots. We know what we're doing on defense. Guys trust each other more. Guys are locked in more. And so it all ties together, when you get to this stage. And, but for me personally, having a team like this, a coaching staff like this, and a guy like Duds, Bron, and Doe, and JR specifically, and Markeith, who always, instills confidence into me. I saw an article, Keith said, he thought the best player, even though we had Brian. He tells me that before every game. Every game since Keith's been on this team, before I go on the court, he always said, "You're the best player in the world." And, having a guy constantly tell you that, it gives you enough confidence to go out there and just play. Play with the swag that you have. And, when you have guys always talking to you in your ear about greatness and seeing Bron, how great he is and the things he do on the floor, and guys on our team as well who does great things on the floor, it makes you want to be better. It makes you want to fit in with that group. And so that's what I try to do, just go out there and play with a lot of effort, a lot of energy, knowing that it helps the team. The team start playing a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and it end up usually working out for us.
Take Dan.
AD, KCP is shooting like 45% from three. I think since the first game of the playoffs. How much has that spacing made life easier on you during this stretch?
Ton. He's been able to shoot the ball extremely well, and it created so much space for everybody. For me, Bron, Doe, AC, Markeith, when he gets it in the post, you can't help off of him. He's one guy. Danny, they're the shooters on our team, and those guys you can't help off of. And when we're making threes like that and scoring in the paint, we're able to beat you multiple ways. And especially when Miami goes zone, the best way to get a team out of his zone is shooting them out of his zone. If you're not getting to the paint, and like I said, KC hit those two big threes for us in the first quarter to get us going. If you don't make those threes, it could be a different game. So, the confidence we have in him, the confidence he has in himself to go out every night, locked and loaded, and ready to make big shots for us is key. And we're going to need that for the rest of the series.
Okay, back to you, Will.
All right, yes, I'll take three more. Alan Slewa.
AD, just want to get your thoughts on, we talk so much about what you do on the defensive side. How helpful is it with some of these role players? How much easier, I guess, does it make your job when KCP, Dwight Howard, Alex Caruso, you got a lot of guys obviously chipping in on the defensive side?
That was great. KCP and AC, specifically takes the role and the challenge of guarding their best player on the perimeter. Or the best shooter. I think they did a good job on Duncan Robinson last night. And Tyler Hero, he got going early, but they started to lock in to him. They take it personal. They don't want, guys scoring on them. And so, when you got guys like that on the defensive end, and then you include, a defensive player of the year in Dwight, and then a guy like myself and Bron and Doe, when we're all locked in together defensively, we're a better team. And for us, it starts with defense to lead our fast break and lead our offense. So when we got guys coming out playing scrappy, playing tough on the defensive end, that's what we want. And we just try to make it harder for the other team.
Hey, AD, LeBron talked about in terms of his leadership how he doesn't like to just talk about it. He wants to be about it. What have you learned about the way he locks in and carries himself and approaches this time?
He's absolutely right. I mean, he'll say something, but at the same time, he even wants to make sure that he's short on the floor. If he's saying that he has to, be ready to move in rotation, in film or during walkthrough, he's going to make sure he's there. And if he's not, it goes back to guys getting on him. And, you know, he says, my bad, won't happen again. Or he knows during the game, like he tells everybody my fault. So, you know, we've never been a team to, you know, not do what you preach. And, you know, especially him, he's very locked in right now into the game plan. And, you know, we try to limit our mistakes as much as possible, knowing that we can't give a team, you know, like the Heat, easy buckets are for our mistakes. So we're locked in, he's locked in, and we try to play mistake-free basketball as much as possible.
All right, last one for you, Jason Jackson.
AD, despite the fact that you guys didn't hit your usual numbers for points in the paint and fast break points, you're able to blow this thing open and get it to 30 at a certain point. You had those 3 runs, one in the first, second, and third quarter. What'd you like about being able to still get to that and have those sustainable runs despite not having your signature aspects offensively?
Yeah, I think we did it with stops. We got some stops, and like I said, guys made open shots. You know, offensive rebounds. You know, we crashed the glass, and you know, guys shared the ball. You know, we were cutting, but at the end of the day, it all started with our defense. You know, to be able to limit, you know, a great scoring team, you know, who could shoot, you know, with their shooters, and also get to the paint and get to the free throw lines. And we were able to limit those scoring options for them and be able to go on the other end and score ourselves. So, you know, as long as we keep playing defense and keep doing the things we're doing defensively, then we should be fine.
All right, thanks, AD. Thanks, everybody. We're open for...
Media availability continues on NBA TV after the break with our Jared Greenberg sitting down with Lakers guard Rajon Rondo. Stay with us. We'll look in on Lakers practice as well.
About Goran and Bam. Jimmy is the same as last night.
Tim Reynolds over here on your right.
Twitter guys, check Twitter. Hey, I'm not even on Twitter, and I knew it.
That's good. What is the neck part for Bam new?
Oh yeah. It's a different injury than his previous shoulder injury. It's on the same side, so it's easy to, you know, draw a comparison. But it's a different injury.
Okay. I obviously you're not on the floor today. I mean, you've got a lot of uncertainty with a couple of starters doubtful, and
yeah.
Is the blue card now? Is there all sorts of stuff written on it, or do you have a sense of what tomorrow night is going to end up looking like?
Well, no, that's part of the process. You know, you have to go through your plan A, plan B, plan C. I love, you know, we love getting to work as a group. It's not going to be, you know, between the 4 lines and grinding it out. It's just looking for solutions and trying to get to a better version of our game against a quality opponent. We all know that we have to play much better than we did last night at all levels. And that's what today will be about.
Next question is Ira Winderman.
Eric, you had a very successful, different lineup during the regular season. It was a different style. It was a bigger lineup. If you have to go back in that direction to cycle back after such dramatic changes, how much work will that entail? Or you always talk about sort of players have that muscle memory. Do you think you can get back to what previously was if Kendrick is starting, say, and maybe Myers plays a little more? Or did this success sort of create optimism for that? Thank you.
You know, at this point, it's all hands on deck, and it's not like the guys that were, you know, potentially slotting into the rotation haven't played before. These guys have confidence and have played big roles for us all year long. Our depth has been one of our biggest strengths. It's not just coach speak. We've utilized our depth all year long. You know, the other benefit of all of this is we've been in this bubble with an extra training camp, and everybody's gotten great work in, regardless of, you know, whether they've gotten big-time minutes in these playoff series. We'll just have to see, you know, tomorrow who's available and make the adjustments accordingly.
Kyle Goon here in front.
Sort of along those lines with Kendrick and Kelly is the kind of second halves they had even though it was obviously in very adverse circumstances for the team. Is that something that you feel is helpful for guys who might be playing a bigger role in game two?
Yeah, look, again, it's not like they haven't played this year. Those guys have both played, significant roles for us at different times during the season. And we've seen them play extremely well here in the practice setting. I said it last night. It's more from a human standpoint, for Kate Nunn, to have to go through COVID and showing up, to the bubble 25 days late. That's something that's real. You have empathy for him. He's really worked behind the scenes. We have confidence in him. The other series played out just the way we felt that it would be best for those series, but he didn't, put his tail between his legs and just feel sorry for himself. That's not how he got to this point. This guy has great competitive character. He's had to overcome, a lot. And he was a big weapon for us during the course of the year. So it was good to see him get that kind of rhythm. That wasn't anything that notified this head coach, oh, now I can trust him. I'm watching him behind the scenes when nobody else is watching. And I love seeing him, work at it and just checking all the boxes to make sure he's ready when the opportunity presented itself.
Malika?
So what is a day like today for you in terms of prep, with one day in between kind of making these adjustments, even with that kind of next man up mentality? What does it look like in terms of prepping and adjusting for tomorrow?
Well, we'll get to work once we finish all this. We'll go back and get together as a team and work for some solutions. And that's, again, what I enjoy, arguably the most about this group is, the commitment just to get better, not to get caught up in a bunch of different things, but to work to collectively to try to get to our best version. That was not our best version last night. And obviously the Lakers had something to say about that. Their game was really good, and that's something we're going to have to adjust to. But, it's tough to even evaluate some of the things according to our game, because it wasn't, our best version.
Scott, right here.
I'm good.
Tim Reynolds right here, and then we'll go to Zoom.
Eric, you've been down in a lot of series. You've been down in finals before. How much do you, obviously not with this group, it's new for them, but how much do you and the staff, Pat, everybody who's going to have a voice and an opinion in the next 36 hours, how much do you savor these times? Because, history says you don't shy away from them. Like, you almost find some sort of strange comfort in these moments. How much you'd prefer the alternative, obviously.
Yeah, but right.
How much have you grown to like these in some weird way?
I'm not sick in the mind like that. But this is when you feel most alive, when you're being tested competitively and challenged in new ways, different ways. This is a quality opponent. This is the way the whole playoff system is supposed to be set up. It's supposed to get tougher and more challenging every single round, and may the best team win at the very end. And that's what we'll work for today. We took it on the chin last night. Only counts as one, but we know that we didn't play well. We didn't compete at a high enough level. Lakers did. I think they were the more physical team, and also we're just playing their game and imposing their game way more than ours. And then that's what makes this matchup interesting. It's a contrasting styles. And so we'll just work for some better solutions for tomorrow.
Next question is Anthony Chang.
So you've said all season how important it is for Duncan to be aggressive. The 3 shots yesterday, how much of that was what the Lakers did to limit his touches, and how much is it on Duncan to be more aggressive?
Usually in these type of things, all things can be true. I think, each round, the scouting report on Duncan Robinson becomes much more laser detailed. And he's earned that respect. And he continues to figure out how to figure out different ways to be more assertive, to help out our offense more. He's as persistent as anyone. So just when you think that you can put him in one box, he finds out a way to be aggressive and put pressure on good defenses, and I expect him to do the same thing. We do need more to our menu. He gives us some of that catch and shoot element, regardless of whether he's shooting or not. If he gets more attempts and he's really finding those moments in between to find spots where the ball finds energy, that can also move the needle as well for us.
Anyone with a final question in here? Okay, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bo.
As Eric Spoelstra mentioned, the Miami Heat have tweeted an injury update saying Goran Dragic, who has a plantar fascia tear in his left foot, is listed as doubtful to play in Game 2. Bam Adebayo also listed as doubtful after the MRI revealed a neck strain on his left side.
When your opponent is missing a couple of key players, what's key mentally, the message to relate to your team?
Keep the same thing. You prepare for whoever's out on the floor. It's going to be 5 guys in opposing jerseys on the floor, and they're all dangerous. No matter who's in the lineup, no matter what the name is, you have to approach it like they all can beat you, as a unit. And as individuals, they're on the floor for a reason. So we understand that we will have a game plan, no matter who's out on the floor. But that's not for us to worry about. For us to worry about is how we approach the game, coming in Game 2, and how we continue to work our habits and try to be as great as we can be throughout 48 minutes.
Michael Lee. Hey, LeBron, in what ways have you benefited from all these finals appearances in terms of what it's meant to have the game's best coaches kind of expose any weaknesses and kind of, nitpick at your game? And what coaches that you face on this stage have had the biggest influence on your improvements?
Like I mentioned last night, best teacher in life experience. And I've played against great coaches throughout my whole career, not only in the regular season, but also in the postseason, throughout first, second, third, in finals runs. I played against some exceptional coaches, great coaches, Hall of Fame players, and they've all, opponents and coaches, have helped me get to this point where I am today, to a point where I have no weakness, offensively or defensively, to where if I can read a defense and I can exploit it, I can put myself in a position to be successful. Doesn't mean that the ball goes in all the time, but I'm not there's nothing out on the floor that I cannot do at this point in my career, and that's all because of the competition and the adversity and the losses and everything I've been through throughout the course of my career. That at that point in time, I said, okay, well, I got to work on that because that's what they're allowing me to have, and now I got to work on this because they're shutting this down in my game. So, it's just all, like I said, the best teacher in life is experience, and I've experienced it all.
LeBron, last night you were so excited to get back into the film and just kind of go over what had happened in Game 1. How late did you stay up watching last night? And then today, have you guys gotten together and also to watch film? And then also, I was wondering what your biggest takeaways were from that review.
Stayed up to about 4:30 in the morning last night. Breaking down the film individually. Watching and seeing things that we did throughout the course of the game, seeing ways we were great, seeing ways we were not so great, and a lot of them was things that we can control. We're playing against an exceptional basketball team, obviously great coached, so we have to continue to understand that coming into Game 2. It was great to get with the guys today earlier and go over the film and like I said, see things that we can do a lot better, both offensively and defensively. They're going to make adjustments in Game 2. And we need to be ready for that. So we can't come out with the energy that we had in Game 1 and go down 23-10 and expect a different result or expect the same result as we had in Game 1. So we look forward to that challenge.
Allison?
I'll start with Dave McMenamin.
LeBron, when a player's been in the league as long as you have, 17 years, and been in the league in an era where players move from from team to team often. Something like this is bound to happen. But what's it like going up against a guy like Jay Crowder, who you had playoff battles when he was in Boston, then you were teammates, and now here you are going against one another again with the finals on the line and having some physical moments in game one?
It's like every other individual I've went against in this playoff run.
Morgan?
Hey, LeBron, we talk about your leadership and how much you're able to help teach your teammates. What does that look like during the regular season versus during the finals?
I think for me, it's all about how you approach, being a professional, and that's both on and off the floor. How you show up to work, how you walk, how you move, how you prepare. It's not all about just talking about it, it's how you be about it as well. And leadership is not, you don't get to pick 2 or 3 days. Friday. No, it's an everyday thing, both on the court and off the court. So, I try to lead by example. I lead by my voice as well. But I put the work in. And I think, my guys see how much I put the work in, and they allow me to lead them. And I respect them for that. And I'm humbled by that as well.
All right, Gary?
LeBron, non-finals question. One of your rookie basketball cards bid for $1.8 million and another bid for $900,000. I mean, given your kind of humble beginnings, I mean, what do you think of that when, you're still playing and it's not like you're Honus Wagner or Babe Ruth or something. I mean, how do you kind of take that in when somebody's paying $1.8 million for your rookie card?
I think it's pretty cool. That's the first thing I think about, and think about where I come from. Hearing those numbers, you didn't hear those numbers much growing up, obviously where I'm from. And the second thing I think about is I have 2 rookie cards of my own, so I'll be good for a very, very long time. No matter what happens, I'm good.
Sorry, Sam.
LeBron, a couple days ago you talked about when it comes to what's happening in the world right now, controlling what you can control. On the voting front, the Washington Post today had a story come out saying that the players have gone from, I think, 22% to 85% representation. That's you guys controlling what you can control. How much pride do you take in that? And do you feel like that message is landing and will make a mark?
That is the hope. Sam, that's the hope every day that you can educate and you can get people motivated to go out and create change. And I've just tried to put not only myself but my team in position to be able to educate whoever needs it, and to encourage and to empower people in our communities. Like I said, we always talk about change in our communities. We want change. We want to see this. We want to see that. We have the opportunity to do so. And it's an honor for me to be in a position where I can have a platform and I can have a support system and I can have a group of people that we can put together a plan and then execute that and give it back. And it's also very humbling as well to hear that number, that percentage go from the low 20s to the 80s. It's something that we want to continue to grow. Hopefully we can be in the 90s by next week and even higher and higher 90s by November. We want to continue that. Also, had a lot of the volunteer poll workers in the virtual fan thing last night, 40 of them to be exact. And we have over 10,000 volunteers right now with more than a vote, with the campaign that we're doing, initiative that we're doing, and hopefully we can continue to get 11,000 tomorrow and 12,000, and continue to grow that because it's so important. We understand that, especially with COVID going around and not having the elderly out of their homes and doing those things. So having the younger generation being able to come in and help out in such a difficult time right now with the virus that's going on still, is very, very key. So. Like I said, I'm proud of where we are, but we have a lot more room to go, and hopefully we continue to do that.
Hey, Jeff.
LeBron, I know you referenced Step Brothers the other night in relation to Anthony, but I wanted to know, maybe on a more serious note, the common ground that you guys may share or have shared that allowed the relationship to flourish, and if there's any way that you know, he has an influence on you on the basketball court?
We